Dear students, grade A, let us start our session with History, Unit 2, the Mughal Empire. In this session, we are going to learn about the foundation and establishment of Mughal Empire in India, career and achievements of six great Mughal kings, administrative and religious policies of the Mughal rulers, and the cultural contributions of Mughals. A new empire began in India with the arrival of the Mughal king Babur. The fame of the great Mughals of India spread all over Asia and Europe. After six great Mughal emperors, the empire began to disintegrate. The six great Mughal kings are Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. Babur. Zahiriddin Muhammad Babur, popularly known as Babur, was the founder of the Mughal Empire in India. Babur was born on 14 February 1483. He was named Zahiruddin Muhammad, which means defender of faith. He inherited Farghana, a small kingdom in Central Asia, when he was 12 years old. But he was soon driven out from there by Uzbekis. After 10 years of adversity, Babur established himself as a ruler of Kabul. In 1505, the very year after he took Kabul, Babur led his first journey towards India. Dilwar Khan, who was Taulada Khan Lodi's son, and Alam Khan, who was the uncle of Sultan of Delhi, arrived in Kabul to seek Babur's help in removing Ibrahim Lodi from power. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the famous Battle of Panipat in the year 1526 and occupied Delhi and Agra. Mughal dynasty came to be established in India with Agra as its capital. Babur's military conquest. Babur defeated Rana Sanga and his allies at Kanwa in 1527. He won the war against the chief of Chanderi in 1528. Babur died in 1530 before he could consolidate his victories. Babur was a scholar in Turkish and Persian language. He recorded his impressions about Hindustan, its animals, plants and trees, flowers and fruits in his autobiography. Babur chose his favorite and eldest son Humayun as his successor. Humayun divided his inheritance as per his father's will, and accordingly his brothers Kamran, Hindal, Askari got a province each. Yet each of the brothers aspired from the throne of Delhi. Humayun also had other rival, and notable among them was a Afghan Sher Shah, the ruler of Bihar and Bengal. Sher Shah defeated Humayun at Shasha in the year 1539 and again at Kanaj in the year 1540. Humayun, defeated and overthrown, had to vanish to Iran. With the help of the Persian ruler Shah Tahmasp of the Safavid dynasty, Humayun succeeded in recapturing Delhi in the year 1555, but he died in 1556 when he fell down the stairs of his library in Delhi. Sher Shah. After overthrowing Humayun, Sher Shah started the rule of Sur dynasty at Agra. Sher Shah was the son of an Afghan noble, Hasan Suri, ruler of Sasaram in Bihar. During his brief reign, he built an empire stretching from Bengal to the Indus, excluding Kashmir. He also introduced an efficient land revenue system. He built many roads and standardized coins, weights, and measures. Akbar. After the death of Humayun in 1556, his 14-year-old son Akbar was crowned the king. Humayun trusted General Bairam Khan, became the regent and ruled on behalf of Akbar as the latter was a minor. Hemu, a general of Sur dynasty, soon captured Agra and Delhi in 1556. In the same year, Bairam Khan defeated and killed Hemu in the battle at Panipat. As Bairam Khan was murdered in Gujarat at the instance of Akbar, who could not tolerate his dominance in day-to-day governance of the kingdom. Akbar assumed full control of the government. Akbar brought most of the India under his control through conquest and alliances. Conquest of women rulers. Akbar conquered Malwa and the parts of central India. His defeat of Rani Durgavati, a ruler in the central province, is not appreciated since the brave Rani did him no harm. Another women ruler Akbar had to confront in South India was the famous Rani Chand Bibi, regent of Ahmednagar. The fight these women put up impressed the Mughal army so much that they gave her favorable terms of peace. Battle of Haldighati. Akbar defeated Rana Uday Singh of Mewar and captured the fort of Chittor in 1568. In 1576, he won over Uday Singh's son Rana Pratap at the Battle of Haldighati. Though defeated, Rana Pratap escaped on his horse Chetak and continued his fight, leading a life in the jungle. Military campaigns in Northwest. Among other conquests of Akbar, the important were the campaigns he launched in northwest of India. Akbar added Kandahar, Kashmir and Kabul to Mughal Empire. His battles in the Deccan led to the annexation of Berar, Khandesh and parts of Ahmednagar. Under Akbar, the Mughal Empire extended from Kashmir in the north to Godavari in the south and from Kandahar in the west to Bengal in the east. Akbar died in 1605 and his mortal remains were buried at Sikandar near Agra. Akbar's religious policy. Akbar made all-out efforts to win the goodwill of the Hindu nobles and the Hindu masses. He also married a girl of noble Rajput family. Later he married off his son to a Rajput girl as well. He appointed Rajput nobles to important and top position in his empire. Raja Man Singh of Jaipur was sent as governor of Kabul once. Akbar treated all the religious groups fairly with generosity of spirit. The Sufi saint Salim Chishti and Sikh Guru Ram Das received Akbar's almost respect and reward. In Patat Khana, a hall in the new Fatehpur Sikri city constructed by Akbar, scholars of all religions met for a discourse. Contributions to culture. Akbar was a great patron of learning. His personal library had more than 4,000 manuscripts. He patronized scholars of all beliefs, all shades of opinions. Jahangir. Akbar was succeeded by Prince Salim, his son through a Rajput wife who was also named Nuruddin Muhammad Jahangir, which means conqueror of the world. Jahangir was more interested in art and painting and gardens and flowers than in running the government. So Jahangir's wife, Mehurnisa, known as Noor Jahan, was the real power behind the throne. Jahangir carried on to some extent his father's traditions. The toleration of religions of Akbar's time continued in Jahangir's time. But Jahangir ordered the execution of Sikh leader Guru Arjun for helping his rebellious son Khusrau, who contested for the throne. This resulted in the prolonged fight between the Sikhs and the Mughals. As a result, the Mughals had to lose control over the trade routes to Afghanistan, Persia, and Central Asia. Jahangir granted trading rights to the Portuguese and later to the English. Thomas Roe, a representative of King James I of England, visited Jahangir's court, and this agreement paved the way for the British establishing their first factory in Surat. Shah Jahan. Prince Khurram, after the struggle for power, succeeded Jahangir as Shah Jahan, which means King of the World. Shah Jahan ruled for 30 years. He led a campaign against Ahmednagar and annexed in it in 1632. Bijapur and Golconda were also conquered later. Shah Jahan was intolerant towards other religions than Islam. Shah Jahan fell ill in 1657 and a war of succession broke out among his four sons. Aurangzeb emerged successful after killing his three brothers Dara, Shuja and Murad. Shah Jahan passed the last 8 years of his life as a prisoner in the Shah Burj of the Agra fort. Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb, the last of the great Mughals, started off his reign by imprisoning his old father. He assumed the title Alamgir, which means the conqueror of the world. He reigned for 48 years. He was no lover of art like his grandfather Jahangir and architecture like his father Shah Jahan. He tolerated no religious excepting Islam. He excluded Hindus from office as far as possible. Aurangzeb's expansion in the northeast resulted in a war with Assam. Relationship with Rajputs and Marathas. Aurangzeb's opposition towards Rajputs led to prolonged wars with them. To make matters Aurangzeb's relationship with Rajputs and Marathas. Aurangzeb's opposition towards Rajputs led to prolonged wars with them. His rebellious son, Prince Akbar, joined the force of Rajputs and created troubles to him. Prince Akbar entered into a pact with Shivaji's son Shambhuji in the Deccan. So Aurangzeb had to march to the Deccan in 1689. Aurangzeb remained in the Deccan until his death in 1707 at the age of nearly 90. The Mughal administration. Central administration. The Mughals provided a stable administration in larger parts of India. The emperor was the supreme head of the Mughal administrative system. He was a lawmaker, the chief executive, the commander-in-chief of the army, and the final dispenser of justice. He was assisted by a council of ministers. The most important officials were the Wakil, Prime Minister, and Wazir or Diwan in charge of the revenue and expenditure. Mir Bakshi was in charge of the army, and Mir Saman looked after the royal household. The Qazi was the chief judge. Sadr us Sudar was minister for enforcing Islamic law. Provincial administration. The empire was divided into several subas. Each suba was under the control of an officer called Subedar. The Subas were further divided into districts called Sarkars. The Sarkars were subdivided into Parganas. A group of villages formed a Pargana. Local administration. The towns and cities were administered by kotwals. Kotwals maintained law and order. The administration of villages were left in the hands of local village panchayats. The panchayatas dispensed justice. Army. The Mughal army comprised infantry, cavalry, war elephants and artillery. The emperor maintained a large number of trained and well-armed bodyguards and palace guards. Mansabdari system. Akbar introduced the Mansabdari system. According to this system, the nobles, civil and military officials were combined to form one single service. Everyone in the service was given a Mansab, meaning a position or rank. A Mansabdar was a holder of such a rank. Mansabdar rank was dependent on Jat and Savar. The former indicated one's status. Savar was the number of horses and horsemen he had to maintain. His salary was fixed on the basis of the number of soldiers each Mansabdar received, ranking from 10 to 10,000. The Mansabdars were paid high salary by the emperor. The emperor could use the troops maintained by a Mansabdar whenever he wished. The rank of Mansabdar was not hereditary during Akbar's time. After him, it was hereditary. Land revenue system. Raja Todar Mal, revenue minister of Akbar, adapted and refined the system introduced by Sher Shah. According to the system, after the survey, lands were classified according to the nature and fertility of the soil. The Amal Guzar, or the revenue collector of the district, was assisted by the subordinate officers like the Potar, the Gonango, the Patwari and the Mukadams. Those appointed to collect the revenue from the landholders were called Jamindars. Jamindars collected taxes and maintained law and order with the help of Mughal officials and soldiers. The local chieftains and little kings were also called Jamindars. The emperor granted lands to scholars, holy men and religious institutions. These lands, called Sayorhal, were tax-free. Religious policy. The Mughal emperors were the followers of Islam. Akbar was very liberal in his religious policy. Akbar tried to include the good principles in all religions and formulated them into one single faith called Din-e-Ilahi. Jahangir and Shahjahan also followed the policy of Akbar. Aurangzeb rejected the liberal views. His intolerance towards other religions made him unpopular among the people. Art and architecture. Babur introduced the Persian style of architecture to India by building many structures. Humayun Palace in Delhi was probably destroyed by Sher Shah Suri, who built the Purana Quilla in its place. Also, the Diwan-e-Khas and Diwan-e-Am, Panch Mahal and Prank Mahal were built during Akbar's time. Jahangir completed Akbar's tomb at Sikandar and the beautiful building containing the tomb of Itmat Daul father of Noor Jahan at Agra. Shah Jahan's time witnessed a climate of Mughal splendor. The famous peacock throne, covered with expensive jewels, was made for the emperor to sit on. Then rose the world-famous Taj Mahal by the side of Jamuna River at Agra. Besides Taj, he built the Moti Masjid, the great Jama Masjid of Delhi. During Aurangzeb regime, architecture did not receive much patronage. The Bibi Ka Maqbara in Aurangabad, built by his son Prince Azam Shah as a loving tribute to his mother in the late 17th century. In this session, we learned about the foundation and establishment of Mughal Empire in India, career and achievements of 6 great Mughal kings, administrative and religious policies of the Mughal rulers, and the cultural contributions of Mughals. Thank you.